Final Project Unit Design by Megan Ford, Jessica Scher, and Joni Stofan. What is this unit about? The students will complete a unit on the main animal groups: amphibians, fish, insects, reptiles, mammals, and birds. Students will learn about animal habitats, adaptations, and the various types of animals within each group. We will utilize several resources to complete this unit, including the following: smartboards, iPads, Chromebooks, Kahoot, Google Slides, Lightbox books, videos, tablets, booklets, textbooks, and science vocabulary readers. So who are the learners of this unit? It is a third grade classroom at Conklin Elementary School in Rockford, Illinois. It is a very diverse setting, with the main languages being English, Arabic, and Vietnamese. There are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners, and the students enjoy working in groups. The reading levels vary, with 5 students at the 4th grade level, 10 students at the 3rd grade level, and 4 students at the kindergarten, and 2 students who are brand new to the United States and at the beginner level. Through learning surveys, students have indicated that they would like to learn more about animals, their habitats, and animal adaptations. We have used that information as a key guiding point in creating our unit. When developing this unit, we used student interest to develop the idea of a unit on animals, and then we used the Illinois Science Standards to help us gain focus on skills students should learn. To summarize all of these standards, the goal of this unit is that students will be able to develop knowledge about animal groups while also practicing several skills, such as data analysis, using evidence, constructing an argument, and making a claim. Learning objectives. Objective 1. Students will be able to create different tablet booklets of the various animal groups learned in class and achieve at least 80% on each booklet. Here is an example tablet booklet. Objective 2. Students will be able to learn about various animal groups by taking several Kahoot quizzes on iPads as a post-quiz about each animal group. Students should receive a score of 80% or higher on each post-quiz. Objective 3. As a final project, students will be able to create a group research project and presentation on an animal of their choice from one of the various animal groups with 90% accuracy. For this project, we chose to use project-based learning as the main prescriptive design strategy. According to the Buck Institute for Education, project-based learning is a teaching method in which students gain knowledge and skills by working for an extended period of time to investigate and respond to an authentic, engaging, and complex question, problem, or challenge. We chose project-based learning because we think that our students will enjoy working for a lengthy period of time with a small group to collaborate and learn important information. There are 8 parts of project-based learning, and they include key knowledge, understanding, and success skills, challenging problem or question, sustained inquiry, authenticity, student voice and choice, critique and revision, reflection, and public product. So how did we use PBL in this unit? First, we took the 8 components of PBL and made sure that we created activities aligned with each. For example, students collaboratively worked to gain key knowledge of what animals are, where they live, and how our world would be different without animals. Students will utilize background knowledge of the world around them, along with research to answer the complex question, what is an animal and why is it important to the world? In order to effectively answer the complex questions, students will utilize several resources, including their science textbook, science vocabulary readers, Lightbox books, and iPads. Students are given elements of choice in the project, such as what animal and information they get to present to the class. Students will work in Google Slides so all of the students can work on the presentation at the same time. In their presentation, students will be asked to reflect on the skills learned and of any remaining questions they may have. Students will have opportunities to meet with their teacher to ask questions they may have about the project. Students will present their projects to their kindergarten buddies in a PowerPoint or Google Slide presentation. We anticipate that students will enjoy this project as it is related to their interest of learning about animals. For identifying and selecting technologies, The web search engine was our main technology, and the purpose of it was that it allows students to complete their research from various websites. We also use iPads and Chromebooks. These are the devices students will utilize to access the web search engine, of which will research the different animal groups. We use Lightbox books. Students will utilize these digital books to learn information about the different animal groups. We also use Kahoot.com to assess student understanding of the different animal groups in an interactive and fun way. Here is a short video showing you just how great Kahoot is.
I started using Kahoot as a way to review things that we've learned in kind of a fun way.
I would try it in my classes. I wasn't sure if it would be too chaotic, and the kids loved it.
What I found about Kahoot that makes it the most effective tool for learning, or one of the most effective ones, was the philosophical foundation that I came to understand about having the question that's posed to the students on the big screen as opposed to being on their devices or their laptops.
And it also makes them collaborate a little bit more too, so they're really talking and learning from each other and not just from me about what we're discussing in the Kahoot.
Okay. Here's a screenshot example of Kahoot in our unit. These are the type of questions that we will ask in a fun and interactive manner. We also use a smartboard to show educational videos and Lightbox readings on the different animal groups during whole group reading and discussions. We use Google Slides for creation of student work. This allows students to work at the same time, see what everyone is doing, and share their work with their teacher at their conference time. The tools add value to the unit by enabling the user to have information at their fingertips. Through the web search engine, students have more than just a science book to research and instead can culminate information from several sources. Students are allowed to read more than their science textbook and instead use several sources such as websites, Kahoot, Lightbox books, Google Slides, and Google Docs. Here is the unit overview. The first 6 days focus on researching about the different groups. Day 7, 8, and 9, the students will actually begin their project and conference with their teacher, and day 10, they will present and complete a survey. Day 1. Through discussion, students will activate prior knowledge about what they have already known about animals and how they affect the world. They will continue collaboration about why animals are important, and separate into guided reading groups and read a book on mammals. They will use an iPad or Chromebook to research facts on mammals and complete the Tabbits booklet. They will play a review Kahoot game on mammals. Day 2. Using the Apple TV with iPad, the teacher will model with students how to utilize their Lightbox books on their iPads. Students will then read through and listen to the book on amphibians using Lightbox books. They will complete their Tabbits booklet on amphibians. Day 3. In guided reading groups, students will read a book on reptiles. They will fill out the Tabbits booklet on reptiles, utilizing their iPads or Chromebooks to research facts. During science, they will utilize an educational video to add more facts to their Tabbits booklet on reptiles. Day 4. Students will meet in a whole group format and watch an educational video on fish. In guided reading groups, students will read a book on fish, and then during science will complete their Tabbit booklet on fish. There will then be a whole class review on amphibians, reptiles, and fish using Kahoot. Day 5. There will be a whole group viewing of an educational video on insects. During guided reading, students will read the book on insects. During science time, they will complete their Tabbits booklet on insects. Day 6. Students will read a book on birds and then complete their Tabbits booklet on birds. There will be a whole class review on birds using Kahoot. For Day 7, there will be a class review game on animal traits using Kahoot. The teacher will then show a sample presentation that they can use when creating their work for their final project. The sample presentation is a PowerPoint presentation that looks like this. It shows them what they need to include in their slides when they work with their partner to create their final project. Going through, it has a title slide and just other slides about how they may want to set up their work. They will also be given a checklist and rubric to use as guidelines when creating their work. They will be placed in their groups and choose what animal they will research, and will utilize their iPads or Chromebooks to research their animal. For days 8 and 9, they will conference with their teacher and work on the project. To make feedback prompt and effective, students will share their Google Slides with their teacher. During day 9, they will revisit the complex question of how animals are important and what would happen if the animal they are presenting went extinct. For day 10, they will present their work to their kindergarten reading buddies and then ask any remaining questions they may have. They also will take a brief survey that provides information on the effectiveness of the unit design. There are several methods of differentiation, such as the method of grouping higher level students with struggling students, having students read at their current level during guided reading, the use of white box books for students who need the book read to them, accommodations on the Tablets booklet, and presenting the information through different learning styles. Here is handout number 1. This is the introduction, when students have to answer the question of why an animal is important to our world. Here is handout number 2. Students will receive this checklist of what they need to include in their final presentation on the animal of their choice. Student artifacts. Students have to create an animal tablet booklet for the animal groups. They have 4 tabs. They have the What Are They tab, which is like a KWL page, a Research tab, where students research facts on their animal, a Vocabulary tab, where students use the Scholastic vocabulary readers to copy the bold print vocabulary terms from each story onto the vocabulary tab in their books. These terms will help them when presenting their final presentation on Google Slides. They also have an Apply tab, where they will write 5 to 8 sentences about what they have learned about that particular animal group or animal they studied that day. Here is an example of the student artifact tabs. If you click on this link, it'll take you to the online resource of all of the different resources that we use and all of the handouts. This unit is an example of augmentation, and that it adds to the functional improvement of the unit. The Kahoot quizzes increase student motivation. The Destiny Lightbot books allow for books to be read to students who cannot read them on their own. The Google Doc and Google Slides is enhanced through the comment feature. The ability to provide prompt and effective feedback increases as students can revisit comments, whereas this is not possible in a verbal conference. For formative assessments, we will use Kahoot, the Tablets booklets, question and answer responses, and the Google Slides progression. Summatively, we will grade the students on their final presentation. We will use a checkbook or checklist that assesses accuracy of content, completion of requirements, and overall presentation design. The survey questions that students will take at the end include the following. Was there enough time to complete the project requirements for this unit? Which of the resources in this unit did you find most helpful to your learning and why? Did you enjoy presenting your project to another class? Why? What did you enjoy about creating your final project and why? Was there anything that you struggled with in this unit? What is one thing that you want to add to this unit if we could do it over again? Did you enjoy this project? Why or why not? The teacher will use the student responses as a guiding factor in creating project-based lessons in the future. Thanks for watching our presentation.